Hi you guys, it's Destiny back with another video. You're watching the Decimania channel here on YouTube. Unfortunately, I have to come up and do another one of these videos again. If you guys haven't heard already, which I'm sure most of you probably have, but just in case you haven't, we have lost another one, and it's a big one. So yesterday, Hulk Hogan passed away at the age of 71. Passed away yesterday morning. And as far as we know, it was cardiac arrest that did him in. His family is asked for people to let them have their privacy, which is understandable. And I'm just going to come up here and basically talk about some of my memories of watching Hulk Hogan. Kind of like what I did with my 40 years of Hulkamania video that I did last year. If you want to go check that out, it's on my channel. It's on my Random Wrestling Discussions playlist if you want to go check it out. And I was shocked. That was definitely not what I wanted to wake up to. I took a nap because I was tired, because I'm growing a human inside of me, so, there's that. And, but yeah, that is not what I wanted to wake up to. Was getting my phone, was getting ready to have lunch, and found out that Hulk Hogan passed away. And I was like, what the frick? This is... I knew he was kind of maybe having neck problems or something as far as I knew, but I didn't know how serious his health condition was. But yeah, he was actually, I guess, left unable to talk or anything, so yeah, that's very sad. His beach shop was closed yesterday. People were putting candles and flowers outside of it last time I checked. This is a big name that everybody, I'm sure, even if you're not a wrestling fan, has heard of. And they know who Hulk Hogan is because he was a pop culture icon. He was in movies, he was on TV shows. I think he was on a couple episodes of Robot Chicken, which I really like. That show's hilarious. But, yeah, I'm just gonna come up here and kind of talk about what Hulk Hogan maybe, meant to me. Because I'm gonna be honest, I'm gonna have probably some different opinions than some of you guys coming up here and doing these videos. Because, a lot of you might be older and, grew up watching Hulk Hogan in his heyday in the 80s and 90s and all that stuff. So I saw his TNA run. I know, but hear me out. While I can understand the disappointment, and I do have some problems with the TNA run, the 10-year-old me or 12-year-old me, it wasn't thinking, oh, is he gonna promote the company, or is he gonna do business right? 10-year-old me was thinking, oh crap, Hulk Hogan's in the ring with Sting, and Jeff Hardy and all these other guys. This is freaking cool. That was my mindset back then. And, I remember watching TNA that one time when they teased Hulk Hogan teaming with Bully Ray and Sting against Aces and Eights and all that stuff. And I remember the wedding between Brooke Hogan and Bully Ray, just different stuff like that he was involved in. The first time I saw him was actually in the ring with Andre the Giant at WrestleMania 3. It was at the end of a movie. I can't remember which one it was, but someone had recorded it and put it on there. So, yeah. there was that. Unfortunately, I do not have the original Hulk Hogan figure that I had, because I got Hulk Hogan one time, and because somebody found me a bunch of old wrestling figures, some Bone Crunchers and some WCW figures that were cool, and they found me Sting, Hulk Hogan, and Lex Luger in like a Rey Mysterio. It's over what it's supposed to be Rey Mysterio, I guess. I believe it was Hulk Hogan with like the painted on NWO shirt. I wish I kind of still had it just to kind of display, but I don't have it anymore. His foot and arm both broke. But no, I have a Toy Biz Hulk Hogan. Sorry. And I also have one of his TNA figures and an LJN, but other than that, I don't have any of his WWE figures with the belts or anything like that. I'm actually trying to look for that Hulk Hogan Sting Legends, or not, Icons of Wrestling 2-pack or something like that. But it is what it is. One of my first memories of seeing Hulk Hogan definitely was that Andre and Hogan match at WrestleMania 3. And I know a lot of people are going to be coming up here having mixed feelings. I'm going to do the same. But I don't remember the stuff that he did outside the ring. To me, what matters is whether you entertained me as a fan. I mean, yeah, you probably should act professional outside of of the ring in your daily life. Sorry, I'm moving here close to the light. But, it is what it is. I'm not saying... Crap. I'm not saying that you should ignore everything that he did, but I don't think... I don't know. It's a complicated thing where... Yeah, that tape got released of him in 2015, saying some stuff, using certain racial slurs, but he did not know he was being recorded. That is the privacy of his own home or somebody else's home. He should not have been recorded without his consent. But you also do need to be careful what you say to people on camera, because you just don't know, who's recording you or could be recording you. You gotta be careful what you say. And unfortunately, Hogan paid the price for it, and I don't think people have gotten over that. Especially people who are probably, I'd say black people probably haven't got over that because, I have heard he has since, he had come to, been converted to Christianity. That's for God to decide, not us. But I hope he did repent. If he is sorry for that, I hope he did repent. We don't know what goes on in people's personal lives. We just don't. So, for all we know, he could have repented. I'm just saying. I don't know if he did or not. That's not my place to judge, and that's not any of your guys' place to judge either. Sorry, I'll get back into my memories thing. But I just wanted to bring that up. No, I'm not going to ignore what he said, but it's also not good that he was recorded like that without his consent. But, yeah. Yeah, Hogan passed away yesterday morning. And it's a big one. It's a sad day. 2 members of the NWO gone. Kevin Nash is the only one left. Scott Hall passed away in 2022, and Hogan yesterday, so. Yeah, it's definitely weird. And he was in 2 different boom periods in wrestling, in the 80s and in the 90s. And he did the heel persona good. He did the babyface persona good. He did both of them very good. You know, I think of his Bound for Glory match with Sting when he finally turned on Eric Bischoff and helped Sting after the match. Sting won that one. I actually haven't seen their Starrcade match yet. I don't know. I've heard it's bad, but I'm gonna watch it for myself and be the judge of that. Like, I don't usually like to just jump to conclusions like, oh, it's bad because everybody else says it's bad. I mean, but if everyone's saying it's bad, there must be some reason why. I mean, obviously the finish apparently sucked, but I'm gonna have to go back and watch it and see what the racket is about. But I haven't seen the Starrcade match. I've been watching old Monday Nitros on Peacock, so there's that. I just watched his match with Andre again yesterday. Just all kinds of stuff. You know, MachoMan forming the Mega Powers. Both of the Mega Powers are gone, and Miss Elizabeth. So, yeah, what the frick? You know, 3 of the people in the WrestleMania 1 main event are gone. Both the men in the WrestleMania 2 main event and WrestleMania 3 main event are gone. You know, Hogan and Macho, they main evented WrestleMania 5. They're both gone. I remember when Macho died in 2011. You know? I wouldn't say Hogan was a very big, I guess, for the TNA stuff, I guess, if you want to count that, because that was part of my childhood. But, like, I didn't grow up watching him in the 80s and 90s. I wasn't born in the 80s or 90s. I was born in the 2000s. But, you know, I like going back and watching all that old stuff, don't get me wrong, but I imagine it's not the same because, you know, had maybe I'd grown up in that era, I would understand a little bit more. But he is one of the biggest names, if not the biggest name in professional wrestling besides Stone Cold Steve Austin. You know, that's a match that never happened, never will. Stone Cold might come out of retirement, we don't know, but Hogan's gone now. And he has a complicated legacy, but, you know, on one hand, you have him being, you know, the hero to all these little kids, telling them to take their vitamins and say their prayers. And then, on the other hand, you have the man, Terry Bollea, Hulk Hogan. That's his real name. But you have him, you know, saying some crazy stuff and telling a lot of, I don't know, maybe there's just some stuff he doesn't remember. Because, like, a lot of the stuff that he says, like he was saying in an interview recently, I guess, that he had been Brock Lesnar's first match after coming back from UFC. Actually, it was against John Cena. Unless there's something we don't know about. Like, did Brock make a pit stop in TNA or something? Or for, I mean, maybe if they did something in Japan, I think, maybe. If that's what he's talking about. But, I don't know. Lesnar was back in WWE in 2012. And Hogan was doing stuff with TNA still. you know. And then I think he made one claim that he was like the bassist for Metallica or something along those lines. I'm like, I like Metallica, but that's kind of weird. Metallica, I don't think they started until 1986, 1985, something like that. Maybe earlier. But, frick, Ozzy, he died this past week too. He was at WrestleMania 2 in the corner of the British Bulldogs, which both of them are no longer with us either. You know? A lot of people lost a childhood hero yesterday. Like, a lot of people lost a big part of their childhood. You know, I'm not, the Hulkamaniac that everybody else might have been back in those days, but I respect his work. This is a sad day. It's shocking. It still shocks me that, like, last time we saw him on Raw, he was getting booed out of the building, which, that's not good. Like, I don't know. People just don't like him. And I can understand why, but at the same time, maybe he did repent. We just don't know. That's none of our business. What he does in his personal life. Unless he's, like, really doing something bad or something. I don't know. I watched, him form the NWO with Scott Hall and Kevin Nash. Been watching his stuff. I watched his match with The Rock not too long ago, a while back. Watched his match with Sting at Bound for Glory earlier this morning while I started watching it. And then, frick, I don't know what else to really say other than rest in peace and, I think he's in the first 3. Which one of the Rocky movies was he in? I don't remember exactly. I think he was in Rocky 3. I haven't seen any of the Rocky movies. But, oh frick. Of course, he had that reality show, Hogan Knows Best, with his kids and his then wife. I don't know. All I can do is send my condolences and my prayers to his family and friends that knew him and his fans. Hogan was never my favorite per se, but I always had a level of respect for him. I know who he is, and I'm not going to deny what he's done for the business. Frick, I'm gonna go back later and watch that match he had with Vince. Frick. You give me the biggest stars of the 80s. It's gotta be Hulk Hogan and Ric Flair, right? I'll throw Dusty Rhodes in there, maybe. MachoMan. But definitely Hogan and Flair. And they've had a couple of matches together. Or they did. And Ric Flair, he's probably getting close too. And Flair's older. Just, wow. I think he had put a rap album out or something. Hogan did a lot of stuff. He was in the second Gremlins movie, which I hadn't watched the first one until last year. It was funny. It was good. This is there were certain people you associate with different eras, and there are certain people that their deaths kind of just hit harder than others. Bray Wyatt, like, for example, his just kind of hit everybody. Not in the same way that Hogan's probably did, but, his was like the Eddie Guerrero of our generation. Or the Owen Hart of the previous generation. That. And then Terry Funk, everybody kind of just knew who he was. That was one of those ones that you kind of just knew who he was, no matter how old you were, what kind of wrestling fan you were. You knew who Terry Funk was. And we lost those two back to back in 24 hours of each other. Hulk Hogan's kind of like that. Like, everybody knows who he is. Probably the most recognizable person in pop culture or anything like that. But I don't know. I'm sure I'll probably leave a lot of things left unsaid, but these are just my thoughts, my personal thoughts on his career. Madison Square Garden, they put up a tribute to him. Rightfully so. I feel bad for people that grew up watching him in the 80s and 90s and stuff. I wasn't around during that period, so I don't really fully understand it, but I do remember his stuff with TNA, him being an on-screen manager for them. Yeah, I don't like a lot of his business decisions that he did with that company, but as a kid, I appreciated the on-screen stuff that he was doing, if that makes sense. I don't know. I don't really know what else to say, really, about this, other than rest in peace. Hulkamania. I don't know. I don't know what else to say about this other than rest in peace to him and condolences and prayers go out to his family. Remember when he came back and beat Triple H for the WWE Championship, and then Undertaker beat him, and then Brock Lesnar freaking beat him on SmackDown that one time? Crap. I'll have to go back and watch that match too. But I don't know. I don't have any of Hulk Hogan's DVDs, or I would have come up and reviewed one of them. I'm trying to find them. Mainly the Ultimate Anthology and the unreleased collector's set. But, sad day yesterday for a lot of people, I'm sure. Sad and complicated. But I'm going to wrap it up here probably. And I'll see you guys, I don't know, maybe Sunday, because I'll be busy tomorrow. But let me know some of your favorite memories of Hulk Hogan. And, let me know what you thought of his career and his legacy. Do you think he should be remembered for his contributions to wrestling business? Or do you think he should be remembered by what his outside life was like? What do you think? I haven't read his autobiography yet, but I might get around to it. But other than that, I'll see you guys probably Sunday, maybe Monday, I don't know. And yeah, I'll see you guys. Prayers go out to Hulk Hogan, his family and friends. Gotta just ask that you be with them through this tough time. But I'll see you guys. Just let me know what your favorite Hogan memories were in the comments, and I'll respond as soon as I can, and I'll see you guys. Peace. God bless. Thank you for watching. Rest in peace, Hulk Hogan.